art, comedy, pop culture, and much more. You're listening to ACPN.
Hello, young Swimcast citizens. Space Ghost here, a.k.a. George Lowe, inviting you in for all of the creamy, enjoyable listening goodness. Let's ladle some up right now, shall we?
Time again. That's right, our yearly Swimcast. And boy, do we have a lot to discuss today. So, with us today is, of course, your host with the most.
My name is Jeff.
J. Galbo.
Hi, my name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
As usual, we have our buddy Jason, who makes John and I less quiet and boring.
Hello.
And special guests today from the podcast of Oh my god.
It's
can't
Guild of Calamitous Podcasts.
I heard it about that one. That was 1 hour of my trip that I enjoyed. Driving up in the dead of night from Florida.
Rilo.
Hello. Hi.
And Rilo, you are with us today because we have a very special podcast, right? Because we're going to discuss the Venture Brothers movie.
Also, I should say Rilo also is writing for a certain website that has become resurrected, or from the ashes.
But yeah, I'm the resident venturologist for Adult Swim Central.
Hey, I know that website. It's a pretty decent website.
Yeah, I heard.
All your dreams could come through there.
I hear our followers. They're up in the dozens.
I mean that's better than it used to be. I think it was in the tweens.
Oh no! No one wants a tween website.
Oh god! I want to say something that someone said. Oh no, that was a different site. Never mind. I'm blanking. I should have had booze for this one.
You want some tea? I can give you some tea.
That's not how tea works, Trish. You can't fax tea.
I just learned something today.
No,
so.
Oh yeah.
Any attitude. What did you learn, Rilo?
Oh, I was just finally reading this article beyond the watch order they suggested, and the live-action version of The Tick with Patrick Warburton's on Crackle.
Oh, hey. I keep forgetting Crackle's a thing.
I did too, but now, if you hand me The Tick on Crackle, I'll watch it.
Hey.
So it's still around.
Yeah, I guess. It's around solely for Patrick Warburton as the Tick.
Oh, and they also have Scotch, the story of whiskey.
Ooh.
Whiskey!
Oh, make a night of it.
Yeah, Whiskey and the Tick.
Whiskey and the Tick.
See, that sounds
like
just pleasant.
It sounds like a cop duo. Whiskey and the Tick.
It does.
It does. It really does.
Oh, and they basically have. I'm quickly looking down their list of TV shows. They have basically anything you would find on every other app like Pluto TV, Freevee. I forget all the other ones now. All those.
Any of the free ones.
Yeah, they have Mystery Science Theater. They have Weird Al. They have Dennis the Menace, Thunderbirds, Alf Tales.
I wonder if Google has that, because now I have an Android TV box and it has like channels now they added in. Which work kind of like one of those.
I literally don't think I've ever actually used Crackle. See, now I'm looking at it.
Yeah, neither.
I used it early on to watch. I think I started watching the old. Well, I remember watching The Critic, and I remember watching. They had the real Ghostbusters. What else do they have? Sonic X.
Now I'm seeing they have sort of the same. So I'm looking at the programming lineup.
Oh,
as,
shit.
Just the Roku channel.
Pretty much, it's Roku. I guess. Yeah, that falls in.
This is just the Roku channel, but for people who don't have a Roku.
It's basically another app that buys its content from Shout Factory.
British stuff.
Danger 5 is on there. Kids in the Hall. Alf.
I'm looking at the Google TV one now, and it's the same exact thing.
Yep.
I just passed the Mystery Science Theater 3000 one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's. I think that's the shtick of every, like, what do they call them now? Fast, free.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something to that effect. It's called a fast, but I don't remember what it stands for. I wrote an article about it on a website because Warner Brothers is supposedly coming out with one. And I was thinking maybe it would benefit them to start showing the more underground Adult Swim shows like the Soul of the Mole Men, Stroker and Hoop Types.
Oh.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say Song of the Mole Men.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
Oh
but
my god!
apparently it's nowhere near ready.
I need to hear somebody say geologist.
I'm a geologist.
I'm a geologist. Go
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
They own Tubi because they've moved like stuff like Johnny Quest over there, which is mildly related to why I'm here.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Rilo. Let's talk about that, guys.
Yeah, how about we stop going on different tangents like we used to and making this a 3-hour show?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like half. That's like half. No, that's like half of my podcast. So if you're not into that,
No, I tell you, with all honesty, I did listen, like I said, on the way home, and I enjoyed it. I mean, my wife was asleep, but she was asleep anyway. She falls asleep on like most Adventure Brothers, to be honest. It's not her fault.
there's so much action.
Yeah, well, we'll see. That's a different story. Anyway, Trish.
So we want to talk about the Venture Brothers movie. Radiant is the
Is
the
the blood
thing.
of the
of
Radiant is
baboon
the
heart.
yeah. Radiant is the blood of the baboon heart.
I do appreciate that it actually makes sense versus something like along the lines of Aqua Teen : movie film for theaters.
Yeah.
Poland for DVD. Like, yeah. No, and sometimes like usually the names for Venture stuff doesn't quite make sense. Like it's a toss up between if it's just sort of punny or if it's like, oh, this actually makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with that to a degree, I guess.
I don't know if I'm allowed to get into spoilers.
What was the policy on that? I forget. Jason was like, whatever. I think
I don't.
you
But
really
you
don't
care.
No, I haven't seen the movie yet. To be clear, I'm currently watching through the series again with friends. And
Yeah.
we're just wrapping up season 3, and I will say I've never seen the last season. I, I, I never got to watch it. So, like, I'm
Oh,
working my way
my
up to
dude.
actually finally seeing that, and then finally watching the movie. But I don't care about spoilers because I will either forget about them because my memory is that of I don't know, a piece of paper, or I will remember something and be like, cool, I can't wait to see that happen. So I don't care about spoilers. So
I feel like okay, but also we don't want to be like, oh my god, this is the big question that they've been asking throughout the seasons, and we're just throwing it at you and ruining the whole thing.
Yeah.
I won't more, I think.
Oh,
But
if
there
you want
is-
to hear me talk like spoiler, listen to my podcast. We did a full deep dive.
The thing is too, it's Venture, and I know I love it, and it's like I won't like nothing will get ruined. I'll still be excited to watch no matter what it is.
I mean,
Well-
we can be vague.
Yeah,
We can be vague.
I'll try to keep it vague.
fair. I feel like I want to do that too.
Okay.
I loved that movie. I felt like, aside from not a lot of Brock, but it really just cleaned everything up.
I totally agree. I went into it thinking like, how are they going to fit an hour and a half into what was supposed to be, I guess was Ryla, was it supposed to be the final season?
No, they hadn't. From what I've heard, they hadn't planned on it being. They've sort of always functioned like as a show, like, you know, they may not come back for the next season at the end of every season, but I think season 7 they let themselves because they knew that they were locked in for season 8.
Mm-hmm.
And it from what I understand, they had no intention of actually pulling the brakes. They were going to do it until they could not do it.
Yeah, and we speculated this the last time we had you on for the Venture episode, which apparently people around the world still listen to the show. It's like what's trending this week, Swimcast? Okay, I haven't done that in like a year and a half. What episode? Venture Brothers spoilers or whatever it was called. I think Doc had used the why nots, and I kind of just copied verbatim the title from that, where we were basically speculating on like what the hell is going on internally, what the hell were they thinking about.
It was at a time where, so according to them, because I've watched now like a ton of interviews that they did for like the press junket before the release of the movie, which was before the SAG strike.
Yeah, I did appreciate that there were a lot of video interviews and articles that went up were like, this interview occurred before the strike. FYI.
Because I think the interviews happened on like, I don't know, like the 15th and 16th they did like a digital press junket, and then like the 17th the SAG strike started.
Well, at least that was
it was like the last thing.
No, I'll have to correct you there. It wasn't the last thing. Teenage Euthanasia was the last thing.
Oh, really? Yeah, because that also was coming out around the same time.
Yeah, well, I got the email if they were like, oh, hey, let us know who's going to, like, generic email, but from PR saying if you want to interview the ladies and also some of the talent. And then I'm like, yeah, sure. We haven't done a interview on the Swimcast in forever since we had, we had William Tokarski on, but we also, like, before that, it was very hard to get interviews with people because one, Trish and I both work during the day, or did.
Yeah.
And two, these guys are like a lot of them were like, oh, dodging a bullet here when we were trying to get Justin Roiland on. And press at the time was like, oh, or he can't do night times. He can only do during the day. And it's like, okay, well, we don't do this for money. And I have to work at all times. I mean, thankfully, this is another attribute, I would say, or a testament to working remote, is the fact that I can squeeze in an interview with the Teenage Euthanasia people during lunchtime.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, it went. That's what we ended up getting was just as the last episode with Allison and Alyssa, because PR was like, yeah, it's only going to be them. The talent is not coming due to the strike.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I don't mind talking to anyone.
And the weird thing, too, some people took some weird ground on the strike within the Venture fandom, by the way. Because this all coincided right with San Diego Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
And there was supposed to be a premiere, and, like, I've heard the details about it. Talk and Jackson were going to show up in tuxedos.
Yep.
To the premiere. They did a screening still of the movie. But there was like going to be a meet and greet and stuff like that, and a lot of people seemed confused about the fact that voice actors are included in the strike.
Yeah.
And the amount of times that I've had to explain that no, you got to be a member of SAG if you're going to do more than X amount of time.
Yeah, and if you're the door swings both ways on that, because Squidbillies had an issue a couple of times, and also Aqua Teen, and I've explained this a few times, where because I don't know, obviously no idea if the new Aqua Teen episodes are going to be SAG governed or sanctioned, whatever, but William Street did not have a SAG license, so anyone who's on the shows, like Aqua Teen, like Squidbillies, they had to be a different person. And that's also why the voice of the sheriff in Squidbillies ended up changing to a guy who, I guess, I forget if they knew him or just someone who was like non-SAG.
I want to say that's kind of that's a weird sort of the production that goes on in Atlanta thing.
Yeah.
Because I know Venture Brothers has always been SAG, and so I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird rules and regs, but that was the first thing that came to my mind when they said SAG is striking. I'm like, yeah, because it's gonna connect.
It upends cartoons as well, and people don't understand. It was like, also they don't understand how the writing strike upends cartoons, and it's like they're entertainment.
Look, all I know from the writer's strike last time is that James Urbaniak got a bad deal when they had to off him on the second season of Terminator. That was my takeaway from that last strike, because he was set to be the big bad when they came back for the second season, and then they rewrote it, and spoiler, John Connor ended up killing him in the first 5 minutes. So
of character actor James Urbaniak. Anyone else see Oppenheimer?
I heard from another podcast that I listened to that he actually shows up in there.
Yeah. No, there's a few memes about it. Like,
no, the one this year that I was really surprised in a really good way was that he played a part in History of the World Part 2.
Yeah, he did.
Who was he?
He was the head general when they were doing. It was Nick Kroll as Judas, and they kind of made it like a parody of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And then Urbaniak shows up and he's like, "Yeah, just give us a signal when you want to out the Jesus." I didn't finish watching that. It was okay.
I thought it was really funny.
There were parts that were funny, but even my wife explained it. pretty much as well as I could describe it, is the fact that you're going from 1980s, I guess, Mel Brooks comedy that a lot of it couldn't pass today, and you're trying to shoehorn that with like newer comedians, and I kind of got the tone. It was a little half and half, like they were trying to make it kind of like Mel Brooks, but then it was like, oh, okay, well, it's not at the same time. What happened? I'm sorry.
Like that's kind of what I was afraid of, the feeling being with that. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but that was sort of like it's probably gonna feel
Yeah.
a little weird.
It's kind of like if someone took the movie Spaceballs and tried to animate it 20 years later on G4.
I forgot. Oh my god.
I know. I think I must have blown a lot of people's minds. They're like, "Wait a minute, there was a Spaceballs cartoon on G4."
Holy shit! I completely forgot about that.
I remember the whole hype train behind that was like,
It's so ugly.
it must have been for like 2, maybe 3 years, maybe longer, where they had ads on buses at San Diego Comic-Con, and it was like, oh, cool, Spaceballs is coming out, and then it didn't come out, and then it's like, it's coming.
And it never did.
It did eventually. I think they tried to pair it with, must have been the 2nd or 3rd season of Code Monkeys, and it was... Yeah, let's put it this way. Mel Brooks did not write the show, the cartoon.
Yeah, yeah.
And you get like 2 or 3 episodes in, and it feels like when they made the Super Mario cartoons back in the 90s, where they just shoehorned in like, oh, Barf is in Alice in Wonderland world, or whatever the hell the episode was.
Well, listen, you can get the whole series on DVD. $22.22 on Amazon.
Serious?
Hey.
This is like these character designs are some of the ugliest character designs I've ever seen. Like,
And it's funny because they hid them too.
And just know that if it were like early 2000s Adult Swim, they would have picked that up. They would have picked that up and showed it syndicated.
I kind of wonder if they wanted to, because that was the time period where, remember, Adult Swim was trying to air like everything in their mother, like, oh, we have Clerks now, oh, we have undergrads from MTV, we have this, we have that.
Listen, I will never knock them showing Clerks because that introduced.
Oh no, I wasn't saying it as a totally bad thing. I was just saying it seemed like they were trying to grab a lot of stuff that was not.
When they had like their Brit block too.
Oh, I love that.
I did too.
And I guess most of the fans did, but Lazo hated it. UK is a niche market.
It is very niche, but semi-related to that and semi-related to the reason I am here.
Yes, I'm sorry. We're segueing a lot.
No,
it's been a long time.
I segue too. It's okay. Like they somehow, I don't know how they fucking did it. I legitimately don't understand how Doc and Jackson can write like they do. They managed to like shoehorn in, but like in a good way.
Yes.
Like, we can make this nice and snug. It fits just right.
Right. They did. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say they did perfectly what every other show that gets canceled, and then they're like, "Hey, we're gonna throw you a 1-hour movie," could possibly do. Am I upset that we didn't get to see every single character? Not, I mean, a little bit, but I mean, it was perfection.
We got to see the favorites.
Yeah.
You get the Order of the Triad one last time. We finally get to learn a bit about Jefferson Twilight, which is something everyone's always wanted. Just more Jefferson.
I love the Darkman reference.
and we got Dr. O's poetry talking, floral talking.
Mm-hmm.
We get they managed to fit in. I think, if I'm remembering correctly from the commentaries, the last thing from the pitch book, which I knew people saw it, fans saw it, and they recognized it from the art book, which includes the pitch book, which is now like $500. So if you didn't pick it up,
it went into
out of print. It's
out of print hell, where freaking I'm blanking on the word now. Scalpers are selling it like that.
Yeah. So, and they removed the digital copy, but that's just a whole other nitpick I have with Dark Horse, because why do that? Why
Yeah.
take that down? Any hooser, the sock golem, the pants golem,
Ah.
that was in Jackson's original pitch book as one of the villains. So, and he made this pitch book in like 2000, 1999, 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So, everyone was like, "Oh, it's Pants Golem," and we're glad to see like that. And you got the cliffhanger resolved from last season, and they made it so that way it's kind of open that it could return.
Mm-hmm.
But they also left it so that way we're not left with the big overarching question that has
the big question. Everyone knows what we're talking about, and if you don't, you'll find out.
The big question that has always sort of plagued the series from the pilot.
Oh, that one. I mean, they
Yeah.
talk about it in the trailer. The mommy thing.
Oh, yeah, mom quest. Hank goes on a mom quest. But they answer those questions, and they answer it in such a way that
It's sorry.
and I know that like this is just like a condensed version of season 8, and they did 2 commentary tracks because one, it's just Doc got so many questions for them that they made one a commentary track, and then they also have it as a special feature with John Hodgman.
Because why not? You want to.
Why not?
You got a Q&A thing? Go get Hodgman.
Go get Hodgman. And then they do a normal. Well, their definition of normal commentary.
Yeah, I got my Blu-ray, but I opened it, but I haven't watched it yet.
It is, if you have it on iTunes, you actually have it in iTunes Extras. You have both commentary.
Oh.
Just a little heads up for people. And you could get it on iTunes for free if you own the digital copy by linking it up to Movies Anywhere.
Right. That is what I appreciate about the movies. On the flip side, I hate that you buy a TV show somewhere, like when they had the quote-unquote complete series on iTunes for $10.
Yeah,
And
that was a price mistake. A bunch of Adult Swim shows went on sale.
A bunch of them? What else went on sale?
Well, Metalocalypse is also went down in price.
I have all those on Blu-ray.
But it didn't go down in price like Venture Brothers. It was clearly like they're repricing them all to like $50, like the complete series sets. I don't know, but Venture Brothers for a while, the complete series was $9.99.
That was funny.
And
you called it, Riley. You said it was probably a glitch.
It was probably a glitch because it got fixed within 24 hours. But before then, lots of people,
myself included. I mean, I don't need it on digital because I have them on Blu-ray. But I mean, if you're gonna sell me something like Venture for $10,
yeah, if you're gonna sell me something like Venture, it's nice to own them. Just have them easy access, especially
streaming.
especially given the temperamentalness of Warner Brothers and their streaming services.
Mm-hmm. And the
And the big bad that wasn't a big bad
right.
of it leaving August 12th.
I
They
was gonna-
didn't even remove the specials that they said they were gonna remove.
Wow.
So
We'll
I don't know.
we'll get into that more
we'll
later.
get into that in a bit. So they it's sad because they talk about all these things like we see force majeure, and this is why it was related to the Brit block. Matt Berry of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place fame.
I
was
heard
gonna
you
be
say
the
that,
fourth
and I'm like, holy freaking hell!
which would have been fantastic. And I certainly would have loved to, see my buddy Paul Bucock get some more work, which he would have if there was Jonas
Hello,
Venture Force.
Hello, Rusty.
Hello, Rusty. So you hear more like Jackson said something about how we wouldn't have seen Hank until like episode 3, and he would have done the high fidelity thing.
Yeah.
And it's sad, and yet I won't lie, I cried
Ah.
when I first watched it because I have stated multiple times over the deep connection I feel to this show, just because it has been around since I was a child, and I have been a fan of it since I was a child, and now I'm 30. Like,
this is your version of my Aqua Teen. That's the simplest in the most simplest terms. This is your I like the movie.
Yeah.
Because that was I didn't.
Is that a compliment?
Is that a compliment? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking with you.
I hope so. No, because it parallels with my adventures with Aqua Teen.
No,
I saw this show. I loved it. It I love Venture Brothers. I shouldn't say I don't love Venture Brothers. It's just that it didn't gravitate to me the same way that Aqua Teen did because I'm batshit insane. And Venture Brothers came around at a time where it was like, okay, well, I've seen Aqua Teen, I've seen all these other shows, and now there's this cool show which I'm on board for 110%. So for me, Venture Brothers and Aqua Teen are like apples and oranges. But to equate my adventures with Aqua Teen to Rilo's adventures with Venture, same thing. Saw this at an early age, loved it, got into the fandom way too more than I probably should have, and it's just become this big thing that like,
And it always feels like it's going to be there
yes,
too, like, because I think it was like a 13, 14 when season 2 ended, and that was sort of when I discovered a bit more of the fandom.
mm-hmm.
I started using the Adult Swim message board.
Oh, you poor child.
I was, I was active, and I was friends with. I quickly learned, oh yeah, it's created by just these two guys, and so it always felt like something special that was just crafted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've used it before, like just like a little craft project that was just them, and so it always felt like, yeah, it'll take a couple years, but it'll always be there.
Oh yeah,
It'll always come back.
and the way the movie ends, open ended like that.
Yeah.
If it came back, if it doesn't come back ever again, okay. But if it does come back again, great. It's just that I don't know. I think I came to terms with Aqua Teen ending like that a little bit too. Even though it came back, and then it's coming back again, and then it came back again. Which, again, either way is fine.
It just, yeah, those, just having so many life, and also, it opened up so many different doors for me. Now,
Yep.
more so now that I'm an adult, and I'm,
I'm gonna
branching out.
What I'm gonna do, Rilo, I'm gonna post in the show notes both of our articles on both shows.
Yeah,
And
because I could wax poetic
oh yeah,
about Fetcher for forever, but yeah, it feels oddly like finally closing off my childhood. Having seen the movie, like, okay, this is where I'm an adult now. This part of my life is over.
Yep. I can see that. Trish, did you have any other thoughts on the movie?
I really enjoyed it. I really liked the way it wrapped things up. The baboon heart was very interesting.
Again,
That was not what I expected to happen.
Yes.
And the thing that led to us finding out the thing, I legit thought that said character, they were just gonna kill him off for a second. I was like, they wouldn't do that to us, would they?
Like, after all this time, this person has to die.
And like this.
It's kind of like James Gunn kind of did that with the last Guardians movie, where everyone was expecting someone in the movie to die, and it's like, no one died. Spoiler.
Jason, do you have any thoughts
about the movie I haven't seen?
Yeah, why are you asking?
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna wrap up with my thoughts and say, I was gonna say, number one, the movie in a whole was fantastic. To Ryla's point, to Trisha's point, it wrapped everything up in a nice bow. I loved.
Kept you interested the whole time too.
Yes, that too. My wife didn't fall asleep. The things that I love, the reference to the Dark Man and the Jefferson Twilight scene, the reference to the faked moon landing.
Yes, that Jonas was taking pretty much, it seemed like, creative, just taking over creatively on the background.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh my god, how did I miss this? Because the whole scene is how you find out who Bobby St. Simone is, and she flashes back to time in Hollywood where she meets Dr. Venture, and he's working on a special project, and you see him standing in between a what do they call it, like a sound stage of the moon with
Ellen verbally berating Stanley
Kubrick, yes. Who, if you know the theory, the crazed theory of how Stanley Kubrick faked the moon landing somehow, it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's two things that I will throw out there as to what I enjoyed about the movie. Different references and side gags, and just the overall character arcing that they were able to do within an hour and a half movie.
84 minutes.
Oh, 84 minutes,
Yeah.
excuse me.
84 minutes.
And the fact that I would love more Venture Brothers. Personally, I don't know how anyone else would feel about this. I would like to see them do a comic line. I really would.
I mean,
That'd be interesting.
that's something like the rest of the fandom is also, like, they've always brought up, and the part of the another part of the fandom thinks, okay, but so much of the Venture Brothers is made by the voice acting.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
I mean, I still feel like you could do it. Like, maybe not even like a series. Do like an annual, do a book, like a hardcover once in a while or something.
Just don't let Dark Horse do it, because they just send things out. They just send things to out of print hell, and eBay gets them for $5,000. Like the Venture art book, and like the Death Clock comics that came out.
I was just gonna say that they did. I forgot they did the Metalocalypse comic series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough. Schnepp actually gave me the first issue of that.
Who does? Is it Boom that does the Cartoon Network stuff?
Oh, maybe.
Boom did. I'm not as up to date.
Yes, Boom did, because I have not Adventure Time, or maybe I do have Adventure Time, but I
They
have.
do Adventure Time. I know they did.
I remember they did regular show, because I saw them in my boxes. I've been going through my boxes and bagging and boarding anything that's uncovered.
Because if there's any publisher, I feel like a network could go to do something like that, it's probably them.
Yeah.
Because they've got a lot of series that are.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're not gonna go with the obvious DC, which is part of Warner Brothers, then
I'm looking at Boom, and it's like
Which has always made me go, huh? Why not just use DC?
the only thing I've ever seen them use DC on a comic for is the exclusive New York Comic Con issue of Neon Joe, Werewolf Hunter.
Forgot about that. I have that.
And for whatever reason, I'm just not compelled to put it in with my DC stuff, because I have everything. It's DC, Marvel, and then independent stuff. And I have it next to my NTSF SDSUV comic.
I'm saying, if Boom Studios could do comic series based on Fraggle Rock and fucking Big Trouble in Little China and Ben 10 and all this other stuff, like, they have a Labyrinth comic. They have Dark Crystal.
Yeah, they have Dark Crystal.
This, like,
I think
they seem like a company you could go to do a Venture series, or at least like a small, like, we'll do this once a year, we'll do this once every 6 months, whatever.
It's a thing of just, I think, getting it out of Adult Swim's grasp.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it makes them money and it's viable to them.
Which, some cool facts about the movie, they understocked pretty much every
yeah, that was fun.
Understocked the film's physical release. I think they were basing it off the numbers for the Aqua Teen release. And
nah.
and they didn't, and I think they set in stone what they were going to order like at the end of June, and a lot of pre-orders came in July.
I think honestly, I think they diminished the fandoms for both Venture Brothers, and hopefully, I hope Metalocalypse doesn't have the same issue next week, but the fact that Aqua Teen got a 4K release, did they get a DVD? No, it was 4K and Blu-ray, and Venture Brothers and Metalocalypse didn't. And you could even see on my face when Malero told me, "Oh, we're the only one of the three to get on 4K," and I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah, because if anyone's gonna get 4K, would think it.
Yeah,
but that could also be a Titmouse thing, because they're both Titmouse productions.
So. And I think I've alluded to this, that it wasn't Radical Access is dead. Unfortunately, there was
R.I.P.
Bento Box. Bento Box did, because it's Craig Harton, our old buddy, who's heading up Bento Atlanta. So it was Bento Box in charge. And I think either Malero said it to me, or someone said it to me, or maybe Craig said it to me personally, that they pushed for 4K because they animated it as though it was made in 4K. Which, Titmouse may not have the bandwidth to do it like that. Or maybe he didn't think that way.
Or who knows? I mean, I don't even have a 4K TV or anything to use a 4K, so like, I'm fine. I'm fine. It would have been pretty. It would have been very pretty. But
who knows? Who knows?
And it's kind of like how people are upset they didn't release all of them on the TV show on Blu-ray, like the complete series.
Yeah, I thought that was very weird too. I mean, especially Venture, which has like a little more than half of their episodes on Blu-ray already.
On Blu-ray that is out of print and hard to come by now.
Yeah.
Because of course it is.
Why not?
Why not? But like, I also think it's just that it would require remastering, like completely going in and remastering.
Oh yeah, if you had to remaster them that way.
Well, I mean, I find it weird in general that a lot of like the things where they're putting out these complete series box sets, like even outside of just Adult Swim, I'm pretty sure like what was it? I think Disney put out Gravity Falls, and it was only on DVD. And like I find it weird that in 2023 you're putting out complete series sets on DVD specifically.
Yeah.
Like, most people, if not all people, are going to have some sort of Blu-ray player because they've got game consoles and stuff like that. Like, it's the same way it's been since the PS2.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's gonna have at least a DVD player because they probably have a PlayStation 2. The only thing that makes sense to me is skipping it because they don't think the physical media itself is going to sell as much because of streaming. Like, that's something that makes sense to me. But like, otherwise, like these things are coming out now. They should be coming out in HD.
Yeah.
And if they're streaming in HD, you have masters that you could put on a Blu-ray.
But the masters for Venture Brothers that are on HBO are not the best.
Yeah, it's
like a lot of like the last two seasons they have act breaks in them. And I know this might just be a me problem. I haven't heard of anyone else having this problem, but maybe no one's talking about it. Season 3, episode 2, they play the audio is messed up, and the theme song plays underneath the before credits scene, and it also the end credits song starts during the ending of the episode, during the last like minute and a half of the episode.
bizarre.
Yeah, it's so like I don't know.
I don't know. Such weird stuff.
It would, but I think the big thing, especially with Venture, just because that's 28 episodes they'd have to remaster. That it was just easier to plop them on a DVD.
I suppose so.
I guess
It's just disappointing to see.
It
things
is.
that are like especially series that are majority in HD getting put out on things like. I mean, I know it'll be expensive, but what the fuck isn't? You know, like most things are expensive. You're gonna spend $100 or $200 on a full series set on Blu-ray, and it's the people who are going to want it are gonna be cool with spending that money.
Yeah, the people are gonna be like, yes, take my money, shut up and take it. Here,
exactly.
let me shove it down your throat for this product.
Or maybe just go. Maybe if they don't want to hire anyone to do this, I'm sure, since they're firing pretty much everyone that works there. But have like when they used to do the made to order, make your own DVDs.
Yeah, which I use that service more than once.
I never got the chance to use it because I was too naive, and I said, "Oh, this is going to be available forever."
Yeah. I
No,
meant to do it because I wanted to get all the perfect hair. And
I did it to get all of Lucy, Daughter of the Devil,
Oh,
or at
That was
least
another one I
majority
wanted
of
to do.
it. Majority of it, at least. I did a mix, sort of, and I had like my favorite Lucy episodes, and I didn't know Lucy was only going to have one season.
yeah. Well, it wasn't supposed to.
Oh, that's drama I'll need to hear about later.
Well, it's short and sweet. They wanted Lauren to revamp it for a 1 hour show, and I think he did a pilot for it, if I'm not mistaken. And by then he was already like, "Screw you guys, I'm going to work on Bob's." So, I mean, look which one paid off.
Yeah,
We love Bob's.
fair.
Imminently. Love Bob's. That's the other Bob in my life that we end up falling asleep to. Besides Bob Ross. I'm guessing because of all the mishigas with the orders for the physical media, they decided to move they're scheduling the movie for September 1st, which is cool.
They fast tracked it. It falls right during Dragon Con.
I wonder if that was by design too. They said, you know what, we screwed up on the DVDs.
We screwed up on the Blu-rays. Let's give them this one.
Because they're always apt to air something special on Labor Day weekend. They've done it a number of times that I remember. They had I know they've done Evangelion a few times. They did the premiere of the Black Dynamite movie there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think I don't know what else they had, but yeah, I could see it being a combination of the two.
So it starts at technically 12 a.m. Saturday,
Mhm.
but it's Friday night into Saturday.
Yeah.
On September 1st.
So if you're at Dragon Con and you have nothing better to do, like I usually did about that time, just hang out in your hotel room or, get some friends and go watch it.
There are people trying to set up like a viewing of some sort, but I don't know how far that's getting. So, I mean, if you're on like Facebook and in like any of the venture groups, I'm sure there'll be chatter about it.
Yeah. Per the fandom, everything going on. Speaking of the fandom, the Shirt Club.
Club. I that's why I had my Twitter up when I got waylaid by the earthquake.
Oof.
Yeah, we got one last Shirt Club, which is something that the boys have done they've done it consistently since season 5, but they did one for season 3, where they release a shirt for every episode, and it is a special shirt that's only available for 1 week, and then
it's gone
forever. But you can subscribe like before, and normally get a pretty cool extra shirt, like I did.
Yeah, they also said they're giving out a free sticker of some kind, so I'm curious about that.
Oh, I am sure the sticker is the blood donor sticker from the end of the movie.
Could be. That could be.
That's what I'm like 80% sure. But they launched that the same day as the digital release, I believe, or the day after.
Yeah, and you had up until about a week or so ago.
August-
I was on the fence
August
about it. I'm like, you know what? This is potentially going to be the last Shirt Club. I got to do it.
Yeah, unfortunately could not actually afford it, but did it anyway. Simply because, it potentially the last shirt club,
Yeah.
and I've never been able to afford it before either. But I've also never done it before, so it's like
Yeah. I was fortunate enough. I had some extra money back in the day. I did season 5, and that line had a lot of cool shirts, and I still have them.
Yeah.
They just don't fit me anymore.
So I say that because I desperately want the Inglorious Extra Color shirt.
Oh, I love that shirt.
Find it.
Not even on TeePublic. They don't make copies of that.
No, they have like the Astro Base logo, but
I'm always astonished with the people like there's the legit people who are like, oh, I wish I had this shirt. I'm gonna make my own, versus the whole I'm a piece of shit scammer who's gonna give you a low quality version. But anyway.
I mean, to be fair, I did that. I have a Rusty's Day Camp shirt from like Redbubble. So they closed off the subscription on August 11th, and then on August 12th, they announced the shirts. And we have one shirt that is based on the shirt that, spoiler, Durbit wears in the film. For Fort Ross, Colorado, OSI Phys Ed. We have a Jefferson Twilight shirt, which I'm super excited about. A shirt with all 4 of Hank's other identities, so to speak.
I like that. I like that one.
I like that one too. I just like the whole concept of that. But the one I'm really excited about is we also got one for Follow That Bikini.
Yep. Some good shirts. So you can buy those. You could still buy those. You're just not getting the sticker
You're not getting the sticker or the special Radiant is the Blood of the Baboon heart shirt.
Yep. So, cool.
Cool. And that's till September 12th, I think, is when they close off orders.
Okay, so you still got time from when you've listened to this, whenever it goes up, to go get your individual shirts.
Yes.
I guess that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, so you still have time to go to Titmouse stuff.
Yep.
And order your very own Venture Brothers Shirt Club shirt.
Yeah. So I think we've milked the Venture Brothers fan stuff all we can. Please don't send emails to higher ups. Get their personal emails and scream at them.
Yeah, don't do that. That's ill advised. Ill advised.
And also, just buy physical media or digital stuff. Don't rely on streaming because, some random website in Finland might say it's ending, and then some other site will say it's not ending, and then there will be total discord, pardon the pun, and we'll have to put out the fires.
Secret firefighters. That's
not happening. That's why when they first said they were,
that's why John and I are.
Yep. When they first said that it was ending, or was coming to a close on Max, they were taking it off of Max. I'm like, does this matter? Because people on the side, friends are like saying, hey, physical media is a good thing for this. Because it's not like it's going to be lost media or anything.
Oh God, no!
You're just not going to be able. You're just not going to be able to pay, a conglomerate like Warner Brothers Discovery to have it on the streaming device. Like, that's the whole thing. They promised us the world, and now they're like taking a step back and saying, well, we can sell the rights to air this stuff to other places like Tubi, and they're doing the Shout Factory thing again. Like, sell it to another a streaming app, and then let them deal with it. Or I think a lot of the stuff is going to go to Netflix, or some of it is at least.
God, I hope not Netflix. I don't have Netflix.
Yeah. Well,
No
I
one
don't
wants
get-
Netflix.
No, we have Netflix, but yeah.
And
Uh,
and speaking of like streaming on Max, they stealthily put on Metalocalypse too.
Yeah, it was like, oh, we took this up. No, we put it back.
But they made no announcement. It wasn't in the press release for the month. Nothing. It was just there
Hmm.
one day.
Ah,
physical
children,
media forever.
children, just
Physical
don't.
media for life.
and don't take it so damn seriously. Oh my god, it's just. Oh my god, it's that. This has been my TED talk. Speaking of Metalocalypse, we got a movie coming out next week. Plus the fourth Death album.
I'm so
That-
excited for the album. It sounds great.
The first. Is there more than just the one single?
I think it's just the one single, but there's two. I think there's two albums.
Right, because they're gonna have the movie album and the Death album.
Yeah, like you have a new Death album, and then you also have the soundtrack for the film.
That's a lot
There's
of
only
music.
one. There's only one song out so far for Death Album 4.
Yeah.
But it's very good.
It's a good.
Also, I just went to go look them up, and I went onto Apple Music because I use Apple Music, and I went to Death Clock, and they have an Apple Music Essentials playlist for them. And I love when they do that kind of thing because I love like the album artwork they use for those sometimes.
Mhm.
The one for this one is literally it's just a screenshot from the episode from like the first episode with them in them standing in the supermarket
Oh god.
food libraries.
The food libraries. It's a
That's-
goddamn
that's their-
supermarket, you
their artist.
douchebags. I'm sorry about it, douchebags.
I'm excited
Yeah,
for the movie.
that's-
I'm excited for the album.
Yeah, that's another. It's another show, not unlike Venture, that didn't end on a high note. That should have gotten its flowers, and I'm hoping like crap that this is like. This is the Death Clock equivalent of Venture. Radiant is the blood of the baboon heart, where it's like we have 80 some odd minutes to tell the rest of the story and wrap it up and maybe make it open-ended in case the network wants more. Because I mean I've probably alluded to it, but it just seemed like there was a lot that they could have done that they didn't do because they probably thought Death Clock was in demand, and then it wasn't in demand, and that's when Max took it off of streaming, or trying to equate it to that equivalent.
I'm a little sad because they're on tour, and
Oh yeah.
they played in New York City. I want to say last week or something like that. Or it's either they played last week or they're playing like next month, and I have a concert the same night that they're playing around here, so I can't go. But they're on tour with Baby Metal,
Mhm.
which is an insane bill because I've seen Baby Metal live and they're really fucking good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're gonna be at Hammerstein, but it's sold out.
Yeah, I think I'm at
That's the day.
I think I'm at Terminal 5 that night
Oof.
for Run the Jewels.
Oh well.
Yeah, I'm not upset about seeing Run the Jewels.
I wouldn't be either.
I'm seeing them 2 nights in a row.
I was like, wait, did I just see it say they're at PNC Bank? No. RBC Echo. Oh, that's in Toronto. That's weird. They're going from New York to Michigan to Toronto and then back to Michigan.
That is weird.
And then they're kind of snaking between U.S. and Canada.
Hmm.
And then the last 2 shows are in October at YouTube Theater.
Oh, the YouTube.
I'm
theater.
guessing that's what used to be Microsoft.
No,
Or
it's
the 50
it's
the 50
built
million.
It's built into the into SoFi Stadium in Inglewood.
Oh, I thought it was that one because remember
I-
what was it called? What was it, the Best Buy Theater we saw Aqua Teen live at in New York?
Yes.
And then it was like
Times Square?
seven. It's been like 7 or more different names since then.
Yeah, it keeps changing. It's the Palladium Times Square currently.
Oh,
But yeah, I know about YouTube Theater. They I watch VTubers, and
gotcha.
Hololive had a concert, had their first U.S. concert there. They need to hire better camera people. YouTube Theater, their camera people are fucking
Wow.
abysmal. But
You would think a company like YouTube would hire
you'd think, right?
professionals.
You think that they would know how to handle a camera and know how to show choreography on a stage instead of some weirdo screaming with a plush in his hand. But otherwise, it seems like a nice theater from everything I've heard from people.
Oh, that's cool.
But I hope whoever goes has a good time seeing Death Clock and Baby Metal, because Baby Metal puts on a hell of a show, and I'm sure Death Clock does too.
Oh, I'm sure. The last thing I want to say about Death Clock, we got news today about the complete series not being complete. And I guess Warner Brothers realized this and are like, hey, you know when you used to get bum DVDs back in the day? Just mail us back your copy and we'll send you a replacement.
I saw that, but they missed what they forgot to put in
The rock opera.
the rock opera.
Yeah, you know, all the scientific nerds were like, this isn't complete. There's something missing. It's the Death Clock, the opera album, opera show.
I saw somebody on Instagram, I think, talk about it and complain about the fact that it wasn't in there. And apparently, it has never been released on physical media in the States before that.
What? That can't be true.
I don't know.
I mean,
Someone
I'm-
said
Doesn't
something
sound
about that. Like the soundtrack definitely has, because I know that.
I thought
John
I
and I are
remembered.
both typing.
Yep, I could swear I remember them putting it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, there's a Blu-ray, isn't there?
What was that called? Rock opera.
Doomstar.
Doomstar Requiem. That's right. I could swear because it was around the time they were leaning Warner Brothers. That was their period where they were leaning hard on Blu-rays. And I remember they put out the Freaknik one. Oh yeah,
They put in a Freaknik Blu-ray.
yeah. I'm almost certain. Yep, eBay's got Doomstar Requiem Blu-ray 2015.
And I don't know what that person was talking about then.
I don't know.
Um,
Maybe it's out of print and they weren't being accurate.
maybe.
Well, technically they put it out, but it's out of print now. Sorry.
When I look it up, the first thing I see is the first Blu-ray I see is I don't see U.S. ones. I'm seeing Region B, which I think is like Australia and shit. I don't see a U.S. Doomstar Requiem Blu-ray. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe it didn't get released in the U.S. Yeah, it hasn't been released on home video in the States.
Ah.
Is weird.
Yeah.
Well, you know, okay, I'll take part of that back.
Yeah. Like, I understand it a little bit. Like,
Goozy.
I was because it reminds me of fucking when Cartoon Network put out the 10th anniversary Powerpuff Girls set.
Yeah.
Which is
Have
the
that.
full series except for the movie. And that frustrated the hell out of me because the Powerpuff Girls movie has been released on DVD in the US, but it was only released on DVD in the US in 4:3 and never in widescreen. And outside of the States, there have been DVD releases of that movie in widescreen
Well-
in the actual aspect ratio, but in the States we never got it.
That's like
And I was hoping they would put it in that set, but they did.
You didn't miss out much if you did buy it, by the way, that set, because they are double-sided DVD.
Oof.
Which one? The
Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff? Yeah. I forgot about that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
You know,
it.
I think also it
it
depends.
too.
I think it also depends on which company was putting them out because they had that Madman Entertainment in Australia, and they were
Yeah.
cranking out I think they had a full, quote unquote complete series DVD release for Moral Orel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they met Mad Men. They did pretty well. Like an Australian swim fan, like if you were buying like stuff on DVD and Blu-ray, you were getting a lot out of Mad Men
Mm-hmm.
because they did. I think they put out Oral on Blu-ray even.
Really?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. We got one season on DVD, and that was it. Like they got a lot over.
Yeah, they got one. We got the one season, but we also got the greatest special feature in the history of mankind, complete with Doc and Jackson commentary.
Oh, I forgot.
So it's so cringy to watch, and yet you can't take your eyes off of it. It's,
And I was there,
oh god.
and also, doesn't age well as far as a certain someone who was part of a certain Capitol insurrection is concerned.
Involved. I haven't watched it in like forever. I've sent it to people because I've described what happened to people, and they're like, "This can't be real. This couldn't have been a real thing." And I'm like, "Oh wait, I have video proof."
Mm-hmm. I think there's the because Adult Swim put out the quote unquote their version of it, and I think they edited a lot of it out. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's on Vimeo or somewhere where it's
Someone ripped it from the Moral Orel DVD and put it up.
oh
I'm pretty sure, because
yeah, that one may not be edited. That might be the full blown thing. I forgot.
and if you're looking for the commentaries, I found them on Internet Archive. So
Of course, that's where all the old Central sites went, and where I'm archiving old posts for Adult Swim Central.
yeah, if you go to the archive, they
Web.archive.org.
yeah, they have they have the both commentary tracks of it's such a good commentary just because you can tell how miserable.
Oh, Dino?
Well, no. Like, he's trying to defend himself.
Well, his defense is valid. He was like, I snuck in a giant bottle of vodka. I tried to pour it in a cup. Keith Crawford took the giant bottle away from me.
I was angry. Like, but then you just have poor Doc and Jackson in the corner.
Doc and Jackson are like the newbies on that, and I wonder how different it would have been, because the whole thing is they were two panels back to back, and it was I keep forgetting who was on what panel. I know, no, Tim and Eric were not on that. They were on the first panel with the Aqua Teen Squidbilly guys. I think Death Clock
Was on the panel with Moral Orel, Robot Chicken, and Venture. And the worst, and it's awful, and you feel bad for everyone involved.
Well, minus one guy.
Minus one guy. Well, minus two guys.
Minus two? Who else? Who am I blanking on?
Certain people who were in certain illegal activities that then they got arrested for after running from the law.
I'm still blanking. Can you tell me which show he's on?
It was Jay. Jay.
Oh,
Jay
well, that's the one.
Well, no. I don't know if you can forget Tino for this.
Oh Lord.
It's awful.
will.
It's awful. It's awful.
We'll put it in the show notes.
We'll put it in the show notes.
All right. Speaking of awful people, so
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
no, I wasn't talking about you.
No, I know.
No, I was going to talk about Rick and Morty, the teaser that showed up this week.
Oh yeah, that was pretty intense. I really liked their
I
use of
totally,
Clash of
yeah.
Pumpkins.
Well, he's a little problematic these days too. But
Who, Billy Corgan?
Billy, yeah,
He's always been problematic.
true.
Did you know the song Heart Shaped Box was written about a heart shaped box that Courtney Love kept all of her love letters from Billy Corgan in?
Huh? I did not know that.
I didn't know that at all.
But anyway,
I just know he tries to say if you don't like this guy I have as my world wrestling champion because he's on Fox News all the time, then you're not a real wrestling fan.
wait, Billy Corgan?
Yep. Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's weird.
Yep. Anyway, problematic people aside, so Rick and Morty teaser dropped. Oh, okay.
So, are they trying to like wrap up the show now that they've lost Justin? Like, because this is all
See,
about
I
Rick
know
and
I've been
Morty.
skirting around the point. Yeah, Justin's a piece of shit. I hope he hears this.
Oh, no, that.
Yeah. Even though he got off on some technicality, maybe he had enough money to hush money payments or something that we'll never hear about. But I mean, the fact that all this other stuff came out about him at the same time from many people.
And here's the worst part. That stuff has been out there. Like, I knew about this stuff. It's just been floating out.
I even
No one-
went back. I even went back to my original interview with him and Dan Harmon, and Dan Harmon's like the silent partner in the interview. He's like saying next to nothing, and Royland's riffing or doing whatever he does, and he comes up with that whole thing about Boutron and how he almost killed himself, and I'm like, huh. So yeah.
I mean, well, Butrin can fuck you up.
I don't know too much about. I really didn't know what it was until he brought it up, and then going back to that interview and saying, "Well, he said that. I wonder how much of that was just like him being serious." It's like, dude, that's scary. But
They haven't announced the new voice actors.
no, I have a feeling. Well, they're alluding to an actual trailer coming this coming week as of when we're recording this, which is it's the 20th of August, so maybe right before Metalocalypse comes out, I guess.
Yeah. But
I thought it was curious too about how it says Rick versus Rick Prime. So maybe they're going to do something where, not too unlike what they ended up doing with Solar Opposites, where they just recast the voice, but they'll have some kind of story behind it.
they're going to go with impersonation.
Honestly,
So
honestly, as far as voices, and I don't think I would change my stance on this unless I heard something different, but personally, I think Harmon should do Rick because they sound alike, and Michael Cusack should do Morty. Even if he does the Bushworld Adventures version.
Yeah, that was what I was imagining when you said that, and I was like, really? Bushworld? Okay. Yeah. But I also told you what I think they should do. I think they should just do what they did with Squidbillies and
Tracy
bring
Morgan.
Tracy Morgan in.
Actually, I did tweet that out when they first started saying, "Oh, he's fired from Rick and Morty." I'm like, so what? You're going to bring Tracy Morgan in for another show?
Just have an entertainer for when they're voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
Do something that is horrific.
Keep Tracy Morgan on retainer. Have him sign a contract that says we're not going to pay you, but we will only pay you in the event that we need you to voice a character from someone who has been canceled,
literally and figuratively.
And that's actually kind of
all Adult Swim shows will be voiced by only Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan will surpass AI in voice acting.
That's the real threat to voice actors. It's
Yes,
not AI. It's Tracy Morgan.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And he will also play all the extras in like anything. Just
True.
like Tracy Morgan in different outfits, having conversations with Tracy Morgan at a cafe.
Honestly,
Take over Hollywood. Really.
Yes.
He'll end up buying Warner Brothers Discovery or whatever they call it by then. It'll just be Tracy Morgan Productions. They'll have his head hooked up to a computer or like Futurama head in a jar, and he'll just tell them what shows he wants to be on.
they'll pull Adventure Brothers with it. It's like have him in a box.
A problem button.
A problem button. Get the problem light going.
Well, I know we've been talking a lot about things, and I feel like we should take a quick commercial break. Ryla, thanks for stopping in to chat Venture and other news with us.
Of course, I love talking with you guys. I will come back anytime I am invited.
We might have you more times than any because we can't find anyone else. No, and also you are technically part of the Adult Swim Central family now.
Oh, I'm in a family.
Family.
Family is everything.
Yeah, I meant to talk about this. This is a quick thought, but the other thing that got me about the Venture movie is family is, just like one of those, like, I think Deadpool 2 did it.
Family.
Aqua Teen kind of did it. Like, it don't matter. It's family.
Yeah. Your
So-
family is who you pick.
Yes.
If you can't make, if you don't, can't make your own, store bought is fine.
Yes. And none of the bullshit in between really matters. The baboon heart or the mommy quest or anything.
None of it. No.
None of it really mattered. I hope that wasn't a
Don't matter.
spoiler.
None of this matters.
All right. Thanks again for stopping in. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with some Aqua Teen news and wrapping up. But yeah, Aqua Teen news.
Aqua Teen News, the movie number 2. Did you like it, John?
Of course I did. There's another shirt in our shop. I just said I liked the movie. I know a lot. There were a few people who were like, "Oh, it's not the same thing because the animation's better." And one guy,
It had a plot.
yeah, that's what I've been saying. It's the movie with a plot. It's movie with a
Yeah.
plot.
Well, so Adam didn't like it at first, and the reason was it was too close to home for him. It was like
For the
too
Amazon.
realistic about work for him. And so the second time he watched it, he knew what to expect, and then he really liked it after that.
That's good. I didn't
I
know what
loved
to
it.
expect when I saw it at Comic-Con last year, New York Comic-Con.
There
But
was so much naked Carl.
as soon as that part, there's one part, Jason, that Carl is basically spread eagle. And Trish was the first person I thought of. I'm like, hey Trish, spoiler. I think I sent a picture of it. I was like, spoiler.
Did.
See, now I'm excited to watch if there's that much naked Carl.
And you know what? He's a philanthropist. Philanthropist?
Mm-hmm.
Full-on rapist?
No, that's Ham Banana. We'll get into that in a
No, I
minute.
was making a Sunny quote, a Sunny reference. It's
Oh.
always sunny in Philadelphia.
Philanthropist.
But yeah, I mean, he really takes care of Shake and Meatwad, and I was really touched by that. He gave them a place to live, and I thought, that's really kind.
He can be from time to time. And the fact that he did help them, at the end. As a whole, I enjoyed the movie. I didn't know if this was like Because at the time they were like, "Oh, we're doing the Aquadonk side pieces, and that was cool." And then they're coming out with a new movie, and it's like, "Whoa, okay, Aqua Teen's back. That's cool." What's new is old. It's a 20. You know, they say it's like 20 years. What is it, like cyclical, where things start coming back? So you got Aqua Teen, Metalocalypse, and Venture Brothers all coming back in movie form. And this was something that's been rattling around my head, and I wish we had had Rilo on. But I mean, the three of us can figure this one out easily. I've been thinking, if they decided to do 3 more, what would the 3 be?
3 more movies?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, from old shows?
Exactly.
Why, I would hope Saul of the Mole Men.
See, I was thinking Saw of the Mole Men, but then that's not Warner Brothers Animation anymore. Now you're kind of extending it to something else. See, this is the three movies now are through Warner Brothers Animation for whatever reason.
It would be cool to have a Frisky Dingo movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That would be nice.
Because I remember Adam Reed saying he had all kinds of ideas for adventures for them in space.
Yeah, and even just, utilize that as a tie-up. Like, especially that this is the last season of Archer. And who knows what they're going to do next. He'll probably, I think Fox and Disney do still have a pretty good relationship with Adam Reed and company, or Floyd County. And Floyd County's becoming a big deal because, to tie it back into Aqua Teen, they're animating this new 5-episode season that's coming out supposedly in the fall. Who's to say? Now that I think about it, I think Frisky Dingo, if they said, okay, Warner Brothers Animation, we want to make movies to wrap up 3 other shows that really didn't get to wrap up, would be Frisky Dingo, Super Jail, Stroker and Hoop.
Ooh, Stroker and Hoop.
Stroker and Hoop especially, because that got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
That's like whenever I think of shows that ended on a cliffhanger, that one literally ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that that's one of those shows that didn't really get much further, but it had its fan base. And also, there was something else I was thinking of. Oh, I was thinking if there was a way they could do live action, like if there was another division that said, hey, we want to make movies from the old Adult Swim stuff too. Definitely want them. I want a mulligan for Delocated.
I was just gonna say that.
I want a do-over, because that last special, the FERT Continuum or whatever it's called, I feel like that was so rushed, and it was like, okay, let's kill off all the characters, and John is just John, and it was the mere fact of, okay, Glazer's attached to Parks and Rec now, so how are we gonna make the show? Yeah, definitely that one. And then definitely Saul, because Saul didn't get to wrap up. They're another one that went into space. And I had a third live action, but I don't remember.
I'm trying to think if there are any that I would specifically jump at for something like that in terms of live action ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's Delocated and Saul.
I mean, Delocated for me especially.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Delocated, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it deserves better than the ending that it had.
Yeah,
While it was good, I think it could have gotten better.
yeah. Maybe don't kill everyone in the show off in 1 hour. I don't know. And the other thing that strikes me as funny about Delocated ending like that is the fact that the first season ended with like an open end. Like, he got out and that was it. And then they were like, hey, we're giving you guys a second season. Jeez, what else would I want a live action movie, a third one for a live action movie? Trish, you got anything?
Live action. I don't know.
Just Saul for you, Eagle. That's a show I got to go back because I didn't. There's a lot of shows in between that I didn't finish watching.
I didn't watch a ton of Eagle Heart, but I watched some because a couple of my friends got very into it.
Well, the first season was so stellar, and it was neck and neck with NTSF. And remember, there was that one panel that they did, Eagle Heart, and they're like, "What show would you want to cross over?" And then Paul Scheer creeps up behind us and is like, "I'll take that," or whatever he said, and I'm just like, "Yeah!" That was another thing. Actually, that was on. Someone had asked that because I've been trying to get on the site, like kind of our own AMA, like ask the editor kind of thing, and someone did ask that question, like, what would you want to see an animated crossover for? And that's too much to talk about now. That would have to be dedicated to like a whole episode.
You know what I would like to see, actually?
What?
Your Pretty Face. That is my favorite live action show.
I was thinking of that.
The funny thing about that is it works both ways now because they animated that last quote-unquote season.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, but there was just something about the live action of it that gave it so much more depth and beauty, I thought. Like, and the cartoon episodes, the animated episodes were like, they were just so short and just, I don't know.
I didn't like it, and I always hate when they do these to shows because it just seems like they're just trying to get rid of them and just collect on whatever tax money they're owed. Was the fact that Your Pretty Face, the animated show, was like they put out all the episodes like at once technically, but within like the span of an hour or two on YouTube. And that was even worse than what I was going to say, like 12 Ounce Mouse or 12 Ounce Mouse being one episode a night for 2 weeks, or even YOLO Crystal, or there was another show where they did 2 episodes a night. And it was like, guys, do you want people to watch this, little by little, or are you just getting rid of it?
I don't understand that release strategy. Like, is it just trying to rush it onto streaming?
That too.
Like, that could be it, because they're more, like, everyone is more focused on streaming than they are linear television now. So it could be that, like, they're rushing it onto television so that they could put it on streaming because that's the deal, I guess.
I don't know, because now that it seems like the strategy's changed even more, because you got Teenage Euthanasia is airing midnights on Wednesdays, and that means it goes to Max on Thursdays, and then Thursdays at midnight is Superman, and that goes to Max next day. So you got one show going, on one episode, one night a week, that goes to streaming the next day, and then another show. So they've kind of pulled it back a little bit. Like, is that because there's not a lot of episodes? But even 12 Ounce Mouse didn't have a terrible amount of episodes for them to go, hey, we're going to show this once a night.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that was part of the appeal of the original 12 Ounce Mouse was, okay, you watched one episode and there's so much that happened and you have a week to speculate about it. Where it's like, okay, well, it's on the next night, so we'll find out. I think the other big news is and this is falling into our last section of everything else, is, right now they got episodes of Teenage Euthanasia season 2. When I did the interview with the ladies last time, I ended up binging the first season. The first season is amazing. The second season so far that I've watched is just crazy.
Oh, I love it. I love this show, and I am so pissed off at that goddamn cat because I missed that interview, right? So we have 6 cats, and 3 of them are feral and live outside, and 3 of them are not and live inside. And one of the outside cats, she's a little over a year old, she stopped eating, and we thought she ate lilies, which are just, even the pollen in the air can kill your cat.
Oof.
So we were freaking out. We were outside digging up all the poisonous plants for cats. This goddamn cat didn't eat for a week, and we took her to the vet, and $1,000 later we found out she had gas.
Wow.
They gave her some fluids, and an anti-nausea medication. The next night, that cat was screaming at me for food. She was just ravenous, and I'm just so mad
Wow.
because that was a really good interview, and I was so happy that there's two women who decided to create a show, and Adult Swim is like, okay, you know
Yes.
what? This is about a girl. Let's put it on TV finally. Let's, like, I know I say Sausage Fest a lot, but that's what Adult Swim has been up
It
until
was. It was. You know, and how long have we been crowing about that since?
Yeah.
Since someone who used to be on this show mistakenly thought Christy Caracas was a lady, and
I don't remember this.
and then the whole Brett Gelman thing where he stopped doing the show because I think it had partially or mostly because they were kind of not demeaning women, but it was like, no, we're gonna have this sausage fest.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally they're like, okay, we'll have women in this, you know. I think there's how many? See, now I want to go back, but we're kind of, you know, headed towards the end of this episode where I want to go back and see what shows have or haven't, because I can name a couple that I believe might be, but I don't want to sound wrong. But I don't know.
But I'm so happy that there are women creators of a show about a woman and her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And Baba, I mean the cat
Baba.
and Peter.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only male lead in the show, and the show is just so cute.
And it's another one of those shows where they kind of skirt around. Oh, who was Annie's father? Oh, who gives a shit at this point?
And like the first season when she's like talking to that boy and she's like, "Are you DTF down to food court?" I'm like, "Yes, Annie." Yes.
No, I just appreciated the whole fourth wall break, and I allude to it in the interview where where they're like in this season they're like talking about, I don't know exactly what they said, but the government dictating your body.
Yeah.
And you see Annie staring into the camera.
Annie and all of the other characters are just staring in the camera, yeah. But that interview, I have seen it and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you.
You did a great job. I wish I could have been there.
No, I was glad that it wasn't someone, I don't want to say they're not famous, but someone like a Doc or a Jackson, or I guess I could have done Aqua Teen by myself. I did it, you know, on the red carpet. Just, I've never done an interview without having backup.
Yeah. You did really well. I was really proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wish YouTube hits were as kind as you were, because I don't think... Well, I think now there's more. 79 views. And it's not like it's not the last thing you see on, or something you see on the website or whatever, but just, I don't know. I guess they all can't be the Aqua Teen interview.
Mm-hmm.
Or even, well, William's interview with us got 129 views in the last 7 months. So, yeah. Not everything can be Aqua Teen or Venture, I guess.
Yeah. But, you know, I think once you put the link to the interviews up in the show notes, people will, you know, the people who listen to us in Turkey.
Oh, yeah, it's Turkey, and I forget where else. I think it was Germany at one point.
Thank you, Turkey. Thank you, Germany.
I forget.
Deutschland. Deutschland is Poland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Deutschland is
Paul
It's
Paul Paul is
Großtoll.
Paul is Todd?
Toll. Toll.
Paul?
It means Germany is cool. Germany is big cool when I say gross. Because see, the thing about gross is it means big, right? So if you want to impress a guy, you'd be like, or if you want to sleep with a guy, you're like, Guten Tag. Hast du ein Großwurst? Ich liebe die Großwurst.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if you want to, put him down a peg because he's getting too, whatever, go, oh, du hast ein kleine Wurst. Das ist nicht so gut.
Mm-hmm. I'm
You like
not.
my German?
I'm
Like
not.
my
I'm not
German,
learn. I'm not learning German right now. I probably should be. No, I just kept thinking of this song that was in one of the more recent Call of Duty games. That
Großwurst?
just got stuck in my head. I posted it in the Swimcast Discord.
Oh, Großwurst means big sausage.
Ah. Other than that, speaking of Grosverse, so there's a lot of hype to this Checkered Past, which, first there's a lot of Discord or discourse on whether it's part of Cartoon Network or it's part of Adult Swim or both. So my answer is I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it technically a swim block?
It's a swim block with the classic content.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, whatever. I mean, it doesn't. Whatever the hell it is, it's a. Look at it this way: it's a transitional block.
it really is.
Yeah, like for the end of the Cartoon Network airing day, going into the Adult Swim, like.
Yeah. So back when I scooped everyone and everything imaginable, which is an impossibility. It's probably only because I didn't have the website ready until a month or two after. And hearing them say, "Oh, the move to 7 p.m. was so successful. Now we're going to move to 6 p.m. and maybe fill that with Rick and Morty the anime and or American Dad reruns," which didn't sound 110%. But then they're like, "Oh, Checkered Pass is coming." It's like, okay, that's cool, and we're going to push it to 5 p.m. now. And it's like, okay, that's cool. And to your point, Jason, it's probably like that gap between Cartoon Network and Adult Swim where you're getting the best of both worlds there. You're getting the eyes who never saw Ed, Edd and Eddy, Johnny Bravo, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Kids Next Door, Dexter's Lab, yada, yada, yada. And then you're getting the nostalgic people like ourselves who haven't seen these in forever getting to see them for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
And then maybe
I think it's a
tuning
cool idea
into...
for a block.
Yeah. And then tuning into Adult Swim.
Yeah. Like it's a good idea for a block. It's a good way to transition from one network to the other. It's a good excuse to throw some older Cartoon Network shows on TV. I like it. It's cool. Will I go out of my way to watch it? No. But
Nor will I, but I mean, if it's the lead into something big on Adult Swim that isn't a syndicated Fox show, and even that's been left into question recently.
Like if I've got nothing else I'm doing, there's like nothing I want to watch on like YouTube or something like that, I'll check YouTube TV because I have that. We'll see if it's on, and then I'll turn on the block maybe. Because like cool. I haven't seen I've watched Courage not that long ago, but I haven't seen like Ed, Edd and Eddy in a minute. Like Dexter and stuff. So.
And now I saw this a couple of weeks ago. There's a. It doesn't sound like it's Antonucci doing it, but it's someone else kind of doing like, what if Ed, Edd and Eddy are in like the end of high school kind of thing.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of
I heard
that.
something about that.
Probably should have put that on the site, but I mean, I'm trying not to put Cartoon Network stuff. I know I have a lot of rules and regs for the site, even though only 2 people are writing on the site now.
I wrote something. I just want to say
You can say it here. Say it here.
Okay. Let me look up his name.
Johnny Hardwick.
So, Johnny, what was it?
Hardwick.
Hardwick. Okay, yeah, I knew it was Johnny. Johnny Hardwick, the voice of Dale Gribble, passed away 2 weeks ago. They don't know his cause of death.
That's a shame.
He was always dressing up like Dale and playing songs on his piano and singing like Dale, and you could tell he really, really loved that role, and we loved him in that role.
Oh yeah.
Like all of us at Adult Swim Central, like we are all grieving, we are all sad. Our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to Johnny's family. I had heard somewhere around the grapevine that there was supposed to be a new King of the Hill coming out. I don't know how they would do it without Luann. Would they get a different voice for her or not? I heard from somebody that Johnny had been doing voiceovers for Dale, or voice recordings for Dale.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they're going to proceed with that, or if they even are going to proceed with that.
Well,
Yeah.
The revival that they're doing, because it is happening. It is officially happening. At Hulu, they're aging everybody up, and so it's going to be like years after the original finale. So Bobby's going to be older. Everybody's going to be older. I'm assuming Luann and Lucky will they'll either have passed or they'll just have been written off, like they went somewhere. But he did record some stuff for Dale apparently before his passing, so I guess they'll have him in a little bit when they do it. But like after whatever they've gotten done, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
Without that character, he's such a massive staple of that series, an important integral part of it. That like not seeing him there and losing him is it's devastating.
Yeah.
He was for sure a fan favorite. He was for sure my favorite.
Pocket Sand.
John Redcorn.
No, John Redcorn. Where he's so aloof, and it's like, oh, hey, your son looks Native American, so what's the deal there?
Aliens.
I was gonna say I hope they go through with it up until whatever he recorded, and don't take the Boondocks route with it. Where it's like, oh hey, we lost John Witherspoon and Ed Asner, and the show isn't going to be the same, so let's just cut our losses.
I feel like they're gonna go ahead with it regardless, but maybe they'll, I don't know, something. Maybe Dale will leave, or something will happen. You know,
he went back home.
Yeah. It's too bad. It's unfortunate. It's really sad.
It really is, and you know, even extending it to George Lowe. You know, we had news recently through MC Chris that he had a incident, and he's not 100%. It sounds like he's doing better, but then again, it doesn't sound like fantastic news, and that's also why I kept it off the site, because I don't want to be the. You know, we just come back in June. Not everyone is aware that we were there originally, that we left, that we came back. So I don't want to be like the doom and gloom site. That's why I vetoed the article about Johnny Hardwick. That's why I haven't talked about George Lowe or even Don Kennedy, who passed away a couple of months ago, the voice of Tanza. And he also did the live action stuff on Aqua Teen. He was Vegetable Man. He was Assisted Living Dracula. So I don't want to be that site, out of the gate. Be like, hey, this person died. You know, we're honoring him, but he's still dead.
I don't know. I mean, I think everybody grieves differently. And for me personally, I like to shout it out into the world and say, like, I hear you, you hear me, let's come
Okay.
together and celebrate this life. And
Hmm.
as my best friend's mom always says, may their memory be a blessing.
True.
And not everybody grieves like I do, you know? Like, I know Adam, my husband, he doesn't. He's very quiet about his grief.
Oh, boy.
And so it's just kind of two extremes, you know?
Yeah, I can understand that. I think for me personally, I grieve differently depending on whom. I mean, Pee Wee Herman really hurt.
Yep.
That one was like, growing up in the 80s and Pee Wee's Big Adventure, Pee Wee's Playhouse. He's doing other stuff. He's doing Mystery Men and eventually doing stuff with Tim and Eric. But like the original stuff that he did pre 1991, that's the staple of my childhood.
Yep.
So that one hurt hard. But then you hear about, different people, they passed away, they were 90, and I'm like, well, God bless them. They lived a long life. Good for, this one and that one. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. I'm thinking of Betty White now, but that was like 3 years ago. Even when Pep died, I don't remember how old he was, but, at least he got to enjoy himself doing Tim and Eric.
The one in my head now, I forgot.
I don't know, but we're making it gloomy towards the end of this show. I think we need to
We
we need to back it up and end on a good note.
Fucking the movie.
Which movie?
The second movie.
Oh, the movie or the movie? Because
The
just
movie 2.
yeah, I don't. What else can I say about it? It was colon movie with a plot. I understand what a couple of people have said about, the animation throws me off because once you get to the non-Aqua Teen characters, it's like a different show altogether, and I understand that, but I'm like, it's Aqua Teen.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Aqua Teen is nothing is consistent.
It's true.
Except when Carl gets a broom up his ass.
Well, that's inconsistent because he got taken out and then somehow it was still back in.
Yeah.
Who's to blame for that?
Nothing in that show is consistent, and that's the beauty of that show.
Speaking of consistent, the animation now is going to be different probably from the movie too, because Craig and Bento did the movie, the new movie, the Plantasm movie. Now Floyd County's doing this new season. So Todd is back.
Hooray!
Yay, Todd. We'll have to have him on. If we can't get anyone because SAG is still striking, then maybe we'll hit up Todd for the animation part.
I mean, regardless, we should hit up Todd.
I mean, we should do that too. Todd's always a good dude.
I love Todd.
Yeah.
He's so great. And Nick, too.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone is looking for somebody who can write, who can edit, who can direct.
He does it all.
Just come up with anything. Nick Gibbons is your man.
Oh, yeah. The guy who did Final Deployment, I forget the subtitle of that. But the follow-up to Too Many Cooks. With the guy who created Too Many Cooks. Maybe that should be... Imagine... God, that would be a mind fuck. If Warner Brothers made a movie of Too Many Cooks.
God, I don't think I could watch it.
That would be awful. An hour and a half of that bit.
84 minutes of Too Many Cooks. It's like, we just made this because we wanted you to get tired of Too Many Cooks.
11 minutes was too much.
Colleen said it was special, so...
I could see her saying that.
Yep.
I'm constantly touching this blanket, by the way, that Colleen made me.
Ah.
I
That's
love it.
that's good.
Quincy loves it too.
That's good.
It's so soft.
I told her she should start like some kind of shop, like an Etsy or something, but she doesn't have time right now.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we've been going on for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, and I could probably condense this to like an hour and a half, 2 hours, an hour and a half or so. Hour and a half.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot in between.
Yeah.
Anyone have anything to promote?
I like cats. If you're looking for 3 feral cats to put in your barn, please
To
contact me.
for safety from the cougars.
It's not just safety from the cougars. 6 cats is a lot. And it's like, especially when it's like outdoor cats, because you're constantly afraid they're going to be under the car when you're trying to leave. They're going to run out into the
No.
fucking street.
Wait a minute, I know who you should ask. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah.
I'll say it after the Anne Marie. I haven't talked to her in a while. She's good people. She might take them, but you'd have to transport them to.
Yeah, I don't think we could.
Yeah, that's a long trip. Also, Georgia's a long trip too with the person I was thinking of.
Oh.
But
Nick? Does he want cats?
no, I'll tell you off
Okay.
podcast because it's funny.
Okay.
It's funny to us, maybe not to her.
Oh, I may know who you're talking about. Anyway.
Anyway, you can visit us on the web at both acpnet.net for your podcasts and other audio-visual entertainment, Twitch, and blogging sometimes. I put up a nice review about a 3D Blu-ray that came out recently. Or at the brand spanking new AdultSwimCentral.com. We're back, and we're for your fandom, ladies and gentlemen. We're not, any joker can do news, but it takes, a family to do fandom stuff. And we are that family. We had been. We missed that part, or I missed that part, and now we're back.
Family.
All right, and of course we're on all the social we're literally on all the social networks now.
Especially Discord.
Oh yeah, we have a Discord. We'll put that in the show notes probably.
Please join our Discord. It's
Discord.
fun.
We're on X. I don't like calling it X. It's Twitter. It's Twitter for whatever lifespan it has left.
I refuse to call it X. I'm not calling it X.
Yeah, no, me too. We're on Twitter. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Hive for what that's worth. Poor Hive. Blue Sky, Threads. That's another one that hasn't really picked up much steam. Reluctantly, I let Rilo start a TikTok, so we're on TikTok. So,
I'm gonna start dancing.
I'm not touching that shit. That's not me. I told him, you can open a TikTok, you can do whatever you want with it. Adult Swim Central. But I'll look at it. I'll see what's going on. But that's about it. So TikTok, Discord. There's a whole... Well, you know what? We have a whole... I set up a link tree. So I will post that up. And hopefully, because of all the information that we've been talking about and trying to fit it into this episode, we might have to come back for either one, maybe 2 more episodes in the future. So,
Yeah, we should record more than once a year.
yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. You know, there's a lot of ins and outs about that. You know, I'm adulting. I was trying to adult. Adult Swim wasn't appealing to me for a while. Forgot about the fandom thing. Now there's a actors and writers strike that kind of impacts us, so I don't know, I guess that's kind of on the side, but hopefully we'll be doing more in the future.
Yeah.
Or if you want to put this in, hey, send us some cash and we'll do more kind of thing. Patreon.com/ACPN. There's links all the way on the bottom of AdultSwimCentral.com where if you're not keen with Patreon, I've made it very easy to send us money other ways. We have ads that creep up on the website from time to time that I can't guess where they're going to land. But if you refresh, they'll go away. Or use a VPN or a ad blocker. But if you do unblock it for a minute, let the ad run, maybe we'll get a dollar or two. Oh. And that might help
And
us.
If you have any questions or comments, anything Adult Swim related or anything Swimcast related, like, hey Trish, what kind of socks are you wearing today? I'll tell you right now, Bombas, because they are cute, A, and B, for every pair you buy, they donate a pair to a homeless shelter.
Non-spawn.
Hmm?
Non-spawn.
You're non-sponsored. I just love my Bombas sock.
Yeah, I mean, I love a bunch of things too, but I can't really discuss them as a sponsor. I mean, I could.
Bombas is not a sponsor.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, anything you want to talk to us about, tell us about your childhood.
And you know what? The other thing I forgot, I'm sorry to cut you off, AdultSwim.fan. We're trying to get that to be a thing. It's like...
It's a lot like Reddit.
It's a lot like Reddit. We're just working out the bugs right now, but it's up. It's available. I guess we just have to put more Adult Swim content on it because it's showing me U.S. and NATO responsible for Ukraine war instead of, hey, this Adult Swim thing. And we're gonna try and make it like the house of fandom for all things Adult Swim, so we can we'll have more. Fan art content over there. We can have AMAs with a bunch of people. Sky's the limit there. I'm glad Pseudocron / Calvin showed back up because he had a pretty cool idea there, and I'm liking it so far.
And we also have Adult Swim Central on Facebook, but we also have the original Aqua Team posting.
Yes. I always forget about that. I need to make a page. I need to make a page on AdultSwimCentral.com of like everything.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, we have this, we have that, we have that, we have this, and then other places you can go, like Ronnie's Aqua Teen podcast. They were I keep blanking on their names, but the guys who do the international, not international, interdimensional RSS for the Rick and Morty podcast. I mean, Rilo with the Guild of Calamitous podcast. Come join us any which way. Mm-hmm. We're back and we're here, and hopefully we can grow out the fam.
Mm-hmm. The family.
The family.
And if you just want to talk about Gabagool, how about Gabagool?
We talk about Gabagool.
The entire time we were on vacation in Hawaii, I was playing that song on loop. Woke up this morning.
Got some Gabagool.
And I woke up the next day. Gabagool. Gotta keep on getting different kinds of Gabagool.
Even got some Gabagool from Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo. I know the words to that song now.
I know them too.
I sang it to my dad. Just the whole fucking trip. We were gone for 2 weeks.
Oh Lord, I wish I wasn't worried about copyright issues. Otherwise, I'd play it. It's on our Twitch feed though, twitch.tv/ACP Network.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's another place. And we do game nights on Tuesdays, sometimes Thursdays, so you can watch.
Yeah, depending on who's interested.
Yeah, and we also do Jackbox TV.
Mm-hmm.
So you can play Jackbox with us and get some really salty, kind of dirty
Gabagool
types. Yeah.
All right.
Games.
So that's it from us. Good night, everybody.
Good night. We love you.
Bye.
This has been an Adult Swim Central production.
ACEN